Hi, everyone, and welcome to our second lesson in our Chapter 10, Government and Legal. This particular lesson is Lesson 10.2. We're talking about regulations and policies, and our objective for this lesson is to identify and describe the policies and regulations that impact entrepreneurs, to examine the specific issues of intellectual property and digital privacy. So first off, let's start with, let me ask you a question. Who owns an idea? Under what circumstances and under what conditions can someone own an idea? Well, here they are. If they are the originator of the idea, if they inherit the idea from family, if they have purchased the use of an idea. But now, when is an idea considered community property? Well, when an idea's originator and family have passed, when the idea is needed by society. Now, these are issues all surrounding something called intellectual property, and there are different parts of intellectual property, such as patents, trademarks, copyright, and trade secrets, and we are going to talk about each one of these in this lesson. So, starting with intellectual property, what is it? Well, intellectual property are intangible creations of the mind that include inventions, creative works, industrial designs. Now, intellectual property, or IP, can be realized for commercial, such as products and services, or for artistic purposes, such as songs, paintings, and novels. Some examples: the design of a new smartphone, the recipe for a popular dish, or the lyrics of a song. These are all IP, intellectual property. So why do you want to protect intellectual property? Well, protecting IP rewards creators for their innovation and their effort. The economic benefits of IP protection include generating income, fostering investment, and the ethical argument for protecting IP is respecting the rights and the ownership of the creators. For example, patent protection allows inventors to recoup research and development costs and incentivizes further innovation. So let's talk about patents. Excuse me, what is a patent? It is a legal grant protecting novel and non-obvious inventions for a limited time period, usually 20 years. Patents provide exclusive rights to make, use, sell, or import the invention. So, for example, the patent for the self-cleaning oven protects the specific technology and the design used. Now, you want to protect, how do you protect your invention? You protect it with a patent, and it comes from the United States Patent and Trademark Office, the USPTO. This is an agency within the U.S. Department of Commerce that serves two main functions. One, granting patents for inventions. Inventors submit a patent application to the USPTO, and examiners assess their novelty and non-obviousness before granting a patent. Then they also register trademarks for products and services. Think of the USPTO as the official gatekeeper for intellectual property in the United States. And by granting patents and registering trademarks, the USPTO fosters innovation, protects inventors and businesses, and promotes fair competition in the marketplace. So an example, companies like Apple often rely on patents to maintain their technological edge in smartphones. Okay, let's move on to trademarks. The definition of a trademark is a symbol, a word, a phrase, or design that identifies and distinguishes a source of goods or services. Trademarks prevent consumers from being misled by similar products. For example, the Nike swoosh and its association with Nike footwear. So protecting your trademark. Registering a trademark provides legal protection against unauthorized use, and it comes from the USPTO. And the benefits of registration include exclusive rights to use the trademark and the ability to sue for infringement. For example, Coca-Cola successfully sued a competing beverage company for using a similar logo and name. So it's copyright law basics. We're talking about protection, limits, and fair use. So the definition of copyright law: copyright is a legal protection for original creative works, including literary, musical, artistic, and audiovisual works. Copyrights grant the owner exclusive rights to reproduce, distribute, and adapt their work. Now, the duration or the time period. Generally, copyright protection lasts for the life of the author plus 70 years after their death. For works made for hire or anonymous works, the duration is 95 years from publication or 120 years from creation, whichever is shorter. And after the copyright expires, the work enters something called the public domain, and anyone can use it freely without permission. More things about copyright law, exclusive rights. The copyright grants the owner certain exclusive rights, including reproduction, distribution, derivative works, public performance, and public display. But there are limitations in fair use. So while copyright grants exclusive rights, there are limitations and exceptions. Most important is fair use, which allows limited use of copyright material without permission for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, and parody. Next is trade secrets. Now, the definition of a trade secret is confidential information that gives a business a competitive advantage and is not readily ascertainable by others. This can be formulas, processes, techniques, or any valuable information not in the public domain. For example, the Coca-Cola recipe is a closely guarded trade secret, contributing to its unique taste. So, keeping your trade secrets safe is important. It is important to take reasonable measures to maintain the secrecy of those trade secrets. Common methods include NDAs or non-disclosure agreements, limited access, and encryption. Now, misappropriating trade secrets can lead to legal consequences. So, when it comes to regulations and regulators, tax obligations and legal implications vary based on a business structure. So, when it comes to regulatory compliance, they have to meet policies set by the federal, state, and the local agencies. And it varies based on the business structure. So, a quick reminder, sole proprietorship, which is a single owner, they have full control, full liability, and have to pay self-employment tax. There's partnerships, which are multiple owners, there's shared obligations, there's shared self-employment tax. LLCs, single or multiple owners, personal asset protection, and shared self-employment tax. And of course, a corporation, separate legal entity managed by a board of directors, shareholders pay salaries, no self-employment tax. Right, so let's talk about regulations and digital privacy. So business owners must comply with various regulations set by different agencies, and it depends on what type of business it is, hence the review for the business, the types of businesses. So for example, the various regulations, there's something called the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA. This involves workplace safety. Then there is the Department of Health and Human Services. They deal with healthcare. But digital privacy is a complex area without a single governing agency. And so privacy regulations exist within specific industries. There are challenges of overlapping regulations for digital privacy, and I'm going to talk about those very shortly. But you've got to remember to protect your own digital privacy as an individual. So some suggestions include limiting social media info, consider posting pauses, using strong passwords, and of course changing those passwords often. And of course, business owners have legal and ethical obligations to handle, store, and manage customer data responsibly. All right, let's talk about those digital privacy challenges. First off, there is confusing compliance. This is a patchwork of regulations from different federal, state, and local agencies. They create inconsistent and sometimes contradictory requirements. So this makes it difficult for businesses to understand and comply with all of their obligations, potentially leading to legal penalties or reputational damage. There is also increased costs. Adapting to multiple regulations with varying standards can be expensive and time-consuming. Businesses need to invest in legal expertise, technology solutions, and training to navigate the complex landscape. Sometimes there's unclear enforcement. With multiple regulatory bodies responsible for different aspects of digital privacy, it can be unclear who is responsible for enforcement and how consistently it will be applied. So this creates uncertainty for businesses and undermines the effectiveness of the regulations. Next is the innovation hindrance. This is inconsistent and overly restrictive regulations can stifle innovations in the digital space. So businesses may be hesitant to develop new products or services if they're unsure how they comply with the various regulations. And finally, there is consumer confusion. Individuals may be overwhelmed by the complexity of different privacy rules and unsure about what rights they have or how to protect their data. So this can hinder their ability to make informed choices about their online activities. All right, and that is the end of our lesson 10.2, where we identified and described the policies and regulations that impact entrepreneurs to examine the specific issues and to examine the specific issues of intellectual property and digital privacy.